coming up from the Northeast Live studios in Guwahati. Northeast Tonight with Wasbir Hussain.
Hello and welcome to Notice Tonight, the show that decodes the region. The BJP has unleashed its political might to push the party's prospects in Manipur. Prime Minister Narendra Modi campaigned in the state today and targeted the Congress, saying the party never understood the Northeast. The Prime Minister largely harped on the fact that his government accords huge priority to the Northeast, a region the NDA considers as the Astha Lakshmi and the development the area has seen under the BJP and its allies. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi too campaigned in Manipur and tried to pin down the BJP, saying the Saffron Party was bent on imposing one culture and one ideology across the nation, whereas the Congress considers India a union of states where every community, language or culture is seen as equal and unique. Given the clear divide, the battle should perhaps have been between the BJP and the Congress. But the BJP's ally of 5 years in Manipur, the National People's Party, has decided to go its own way and emerge as one of the BJP's key rivals. The NPP, which claims itself to be a national party, has fielded candidates in 40 seats and hopes to win 20, making it a triangular contest in Manipur. To discuss the poll mathematics, I am joined from Imphal by Congress Working President and Party candidate I. Hemachandra Singh. From Moirang, I am joined by BJP leader and candidate Prithviraj Singh. Also in Imphal, I have Ratika Yumnam, NPP spokesperson. Naga People's Front Secretary General Achumbemo Kikon joins me from Imphal as well. And from Imphal again, I am joined by Dr. Chingleng Maisnam, Senior Associate Professor at Manipur University and a commentator. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Northeast Tonight. Now let me go straight to Hemachandra Singh of the Congress Party. Mr. Hemachandra Singh, the BJP has unleashed its political might in Manipur. We have seen Prime Minister Narendra Modi campaigning today. We have seen the National President JP Nadda already campaigning. We are going to see the arrival of Union Home Minister Amit Shah tomorrow. The NEDA convener and Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma has already campaigned twice. And Smriti Irani, Kiran Rijiju, to name, I'm forgetting the names by the way, Hemachandra Singh. And do you think the Congress, which is actually supposed to be the main opposition party until the NPP emerged as a rival by deciding to contest so many seats, do you think the Congress has been able to give a matcher? Do you think you are impacted?
Vasvi, firstly, whatever they keep unleashing, they can keep unleashing, because I think we have lost count of leaders who have been coming almost every alternate day to Manipur from the BJP, right from the Prime Minister to the National President to their ministers and what have you. But I'm absolutely, surprised and of course depressed and very unhappy with the fact that every BJP leader who comes to campaign in Manipur somehow projects a picture that they are invincible, and also the fact that civilization started in Manipur after 2017, after they took over. And I think it is more of an insult to the people of Manipur. See, because Prime Minister Modi or Shri Biren talks about voting for BJP so that the foundation of a stable, progressive Manipur can be laid for the next 25 years. Let me point out that it is the foundation laid by the Indian National Congress for over 15 years on which BJP based the entire gamut of its work. And I think you will agree that the NPP, of course the NPP panelist is there, she will come on also later on, but NPP, it is the coalition dharma. In democracy, when you don't have a, when you come out with a fractured mandate, the the people don't give you a clear, verdict, then I think a coalition, is stitched, and it runs on common principles and mutual respect. It is not important whether you have just one, you have two, you have four, but it is about the whole, principles and good faith and respect for each other, which has totally been thrown to the winds. And I think the latest has been, I think, the most worst form of, I think, expression which we have seen in today's Prime Minister Modi's speech, as well as the Assam Chief Minister's speech. Totally, going, not having very good words for the NPP, and saying that once, they are totally going to be on their own, and they have forgotten that the NPP had such a major role in being there for 5 years.
Okay, Mr. Amachandra Singh, I'm sure the NPP will say why it decided to quit the government and quit the coalition and form and contest on its own. I'll come to the NPP spokesperson Ratika Yumnam. But let me before going to Prithviraj and the professor for an independent view, let me go to Mr. Achumbemo Kikon, the Naga People's Front Secretary General. Now it is clear, Mr. Achumbemo Kikon, yesterday or 2 days ago, I had an interview with Chief Minister N. Biren Singh. They said that we trust the NPF, NPF trusts the BJP. Now there is no coalition of any sorts, but the only understanding, which the NPF has also said that it is happy with the BJP manifesto, and the BJP leader N. Biren Singh and Chief Minister also saying that we have full trust in the Naga People's Front. It seems that it is the only non-formalized coalition at the moment. It is the only two parties that have an understanding, NPF and the BJP. Achumbemo Kikon.
Yes, good evening, Wasbir.
Good evening.
As far as NPF is concerned, we are a party. Once decision is taken, we stick to it and we don't deviate from the decision that we take. Now you are aware that we are a part of the present government. We have two ministers and one chairman of the Hill Area Committee, as well as one honorable MLA. 4 MLAs have been consistently supporting the BJP government for the past 5 years, despite of so many internal hiccups within the BJP. Now they have tested the sincerity of our party. There is no question of doubting us. And on our part, you are right, there is no formal agreement as such of having an alliance with BJP or any other political party. For that matter, you're also aware that the BJP has set up a candidate in all the 60 constituencies, including the 10 constituencies where the NPF has set up our own candidate, and for which it has become a friendly contest between the BJP and the NPF. Also, we are running the same coalition government. There is no question they should doubt us. We are committed to the understanding that we have arrived at when we joined the government. And as I said, there were a lot of problems in between stitching the alliance as well as running the government. But for us, we were not greedy of positions. We were not greedy of anything that the party, of course, we deserve it, but we have not gone beyond the limit. And we are within the limit, and we will continue to maintain that kind of relationship, the understanding with the BJP. And having said that, we are also not against with any other political parties.
Absolutely. That is a diplomatic way to end the opening remark. Achumbemo, I'm coming back to you. Before going to the two political leaders, that is Prithviraj and Ratika Yumnam, let me go to Dr. Chingleng Maisnam, Senior Associate Professor at Manipur University and a commentator. Dr. Maisnam, who do you consider as the real opposition in Manipur today? Do you see the Congress as the real opposition, or do you see the NPP as the main opposition? What is your personal view?
is coming up because of the political situation scenario which are prevailing in Manipur today.
Let's increase the audio.
And okay,
Yes, carry on. Yes,
can
yes.
you hear me?
Yes, yes. Carry
Yeah.
on.
Actually, this issue is coming up. This election seems to be an issueless, agenda-less.
Election, themeless election. Are you hearing me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
It is because of this fact that we are still confusing whether who is a opposition, who is a ruling. Everyone wants to be in the ruling party, and almost all the parties they are claiming that they will form the government on their own. But as far as your question is concerned, it should be based on the policies, programs, and also their manifesto.
No, Professor,
because-
Professor, my question is, who do you consider as the real opposition? Is it the Congress? Is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
the NPP?
No, definitely, Congress and the Congress-led alliance will be the main opposition party in Manipur. As far as NPP is concerned, they are not still deciding, and they will take decision after the poll. So they are always. They used to say that they will either they may support the either the ruling the present BJP or the Congress. They don't. I think they have not still decided. So it will be based on the performance outcome.
Right, right. So, according to Professor Maisnam, although the NPP is saying that they're going to emerge as the largest single party, they will ally with somebody else. But Professor Maisnam feels that the NPP stand will be clear only after the election results are out based on their performance. I'll ask Ratika Yumnam to comment on it. But Prithviraj Singh, the BJP leader and candidate for Moirang, Prithviraj Singh yesterday while campaigning in your constituency, Assam Chief Minister and NEDA convener Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma said that Himanta Biswa Sharma said that the NPP has no value, and instead of NPP, if it is elected, also it has to go and ask the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So why should you go indirectly? Go directly by electing the BJP. Now my point is, do you feel somehow that the NPP may play spoil sport to the BJP's chances, not to your personal, I'm not asking this question personally, but overall, to many candidates, do you think the NPP could emerge as a spoiler?
Well, Wasbir Bhai, absolutely not, because so we have about 6 days to go to poll on the 28th, for the first phase. See, it's crystal clear now. See, today, if you see at the mega rally at the Honorable Prime Minister's visit today, how the people of Manipur have come out in large numbers to give their blessings to the BJP. So it's crystal clear that the BJP is coming back. So there's nothing like, NPP is going to be a spoil sport or anything like that. So BJP will be, like you have said that Shri Himanta Biswaji was there at my rally yesterday, and he has categorically said that voting for the NPP is like, that NPP, whatever funds is required from BJP, we're asking indirectly. So there's no point. And definitely, the BJP will be forming the government on its own. So we will not be requiring the support of NPP in the, outcome of the elections. So that's crystal clear. And a tall leader like Himanta Biswa Sharma, before commenting on such an occasion, have thought twice, thrice, many a times, and he have seen he is regarded as the Chanakya of BJP, especially for Northeast India, and he is the one man who have formed all these alliances and brought BJP to the entire Northeast. So he has thought about it. That's why he has taken several numbers of surveys, and the kind of feedback and the kind of surveys that he has done. He was very confident yesterday. So
Okay.
that's why we are forming. So I don't think there's no question of any other political party playing spoil sport.
Okay, Ratika Yumnam, you have a lot on your plate. You have a lot to answer. there were two main allies of the BJP in Manipur. One was the NPP and the other was the NPF. Now, while the NPF continued with its commitment to the BJP, the NPP seemed to have broken out, come out of the coalition and contesting and challenging the BJP. So, the NPP, to the BJP's eyes, the BJP perhaps looks at the NPP as the villain in this election, perhaps more than the Congress. So, how do you respond? How do you look at it?
Certainly, we're not the villains in this case. We're just a very competitive rival, I would say. And I can see that there's BJP perceives us as a threat, and that is exactly why they have been, attacking us so much during their speeches and, trying to bring us down and all those things. If we were no threat, if we weren't, if we weren't a political party to be reckoned with, they wouldn't even, consider us or, give us the importance in their speeches and, lambast us so much. So, of course, they see us as a threat. And like we had discussed earlier in other panels also, there were a lot of issues within the coalition itself. And it was not that NPP was not, taking care of the coalition dharma and all. In fact, we kept on asking and we kept on pressing that there should be a name for this coalition government, that there should be a common minimum agenda for this coalition government, and not become like a one-man show that it has become, right now. So there were a lot of challenges and there were a lot of disagreements, But and that's why, and besides that, all these issues, we also have our own identity as NPP. We are very much rooted to the region. We are very much, in connect with the grassroots, and being a national party also and rooted in the region gives us an advantage to actually listen to the people, to the grassroots, and be part of it. And the thing of saying that what will NPP ask the center, etc. So,
right.
Asking the center, I think the first thing as a political party, as the government, is to listen to your people rather than trying to lick up with the center instead. So, and we have to remember that India itself is a federation of states in the first place, and center cannot just keep on dictating its terms and
Okay,
policies.
Ratika, you have said that India is a federation of states. We all know that India is a federation of states, but you seem to be picked up that line from Rahul Gandhi. So, does it mean that NPP is thinking of a possible alliance with the Congress?
No, but the alliance and all, I think we will have to look at it only after our numbers and the results. So, but we are open to all options, and we would look into and consider what is best for our people, for the state. And
right.
So options are open, certainly, yeah.
Options are open. That is a big statement coming from the NPP spokesperson. Options are open. Let me come back to you, Mr. Hemachandra Ching. Mr. Hemachandra, the Prime Minister today made 2-3 things. He said the Congress divided the valley and hills in Manipur, and it was the BJP that bridged the divide. But more than that, I want you to respond to one particular thing. BJP leader after BJP leader have been saying that it was the BJP that has been able to, do away with the blockade culture, blockade and bund culture. So, blockade to development, that is the BJP's mantra as far as this election is concerned. Every BJP leader who is visiting Manipur in the last couple of weeks have been saying that it was only under the leadership of N. Biren Singh and the BJP government that blockades have become a thing of the past. Now, that means they have projected the Congress as a government that failed to satisfy the people, that led to continuous blockades.
See, Wasbir, that is the sad part of the whole rhetoric. See, that is what I was trying to tell you, and the whole country or the whole state needs to understand. Because you cannot debunk, you cannot just write off somebody's hard work for the last 15 years. You cannot, the seeds are grown. You do not get fruits if a mango seed is planted, you cannot get mango fruits in 2 days time. It takes time for things to settle down. And it's a process, the so-called peace process, the so-called economic revival, the so-called, whatever, Manipur coming back on track is something which has taken a lot of time and a lot of commitment. And 3 consecutive continuous governments. I mean, of course, at one point of time, Ratika's own father, he was our DGP, and I remember his yeoman contribution to the entire whole bringing about the law and order situation to what to normal levels, and how Manipur came on track. So I think it will be very unfair. I think it is absolutely unfair for somebody to claim credit for all the good things which has ever come about in Manipur because of the BJP regime. In fact, I counter it. I probably say that it's just the reverse. In fact, we gave such a sound foundation, because by the time the BJP dispensation came, because of whatever reason, because we were 28, we won 28, the mandate was very clear with the Congress, but yet we didn't have a government. But by the time the BJP took over, Shri Biren Singh became, the chief minister with the support of NPP and other like-minded, their coalition partners. I think Manipur was already on a good track. Manipur was already on a peaceful, station, and I think it is hearsay that it has, as if magic has happened, as a miracle has happened, that in the past 5 years only BJP has, because of BJP, bunds and blockades have not come about. I think let me have a counter question to the BJP itself, that whenever the Prime Minister, whenever any leader, I quote from Mr. Modi's speech once when he came to Imphal in 2017. He said that in 48 hours, if we come to power, we will, there will be no blockades or bunds. What are the undertones? What are the reasons? If the Congress is in power or some other dispensation is in power, there will be blockades and bunds. If the BJP comes to power, there will be no blockades and bunds. So how do we interpret it? So there are many, unspoken, there are very unanswered, questions on which a lot of debate is going on, and people of Manipur know what is behind the lines.
Right. Now the point is, let me once again turn to Achumama Kikon. I'm coming to you in a minute. Prithviraj Singh, your party has been accused of taking credit for, as if you have done everything, only since 2017, as if nothing had happened in Manipur before 2017. You were yourself with the Congress party, until recently. Now, honestly, is it just for the sake of winning an election you are claiming all the credit, or do you completely dismiss the tenure or whatever has been done to Manipur by other parties?
Well, Wasbir, before answering that question, I will just like to reply on the question which my fellow panelist from the Congress, my dear brother Shri Hemant Chandra, has put up, that in 2017, the Honorable Prime Minister, while campaigning for the 2017 election, promised that if the BJP comes back to power, in 2017, the bunds and blockades will be, over in 48 hours. Because see, that speaks volume about the seriousness about the Prime Minister. It's about what good governance is all about. It's about taking the trust deficit between the hill and valley to a certain level where the negotiating table is all set, and that's the kind of trust that especially the hill people have bestowed upon the Honorable Prime Minister. And lo and behold, in the last 5 years, see, it's not about toll claims. It's a fact. It's a fact that in the last 5 years, there's no bunds and blockades of that sort. So that speaks volume about the seriousness of the Prime Minister, seriousness of his government on good governance. It's about the trust deficit between the hill and valley has been breached to such a level that that there's no bun and blockade in the last 5 years. Then coming back to your question that the BJP discredit whatever is done in the past. No, it's nothing like that. See, the BJP believe in inclusive growth. That's the BJP's mantra of Sabka Saath and Sabka Vikas. So hill, valley, wherever it is, if you see in the hill, in the last 5 years, we have seen quantum development, quantum jump as far as development is, infrastructure development is concerned in the hills. And especially see if it is Modi's, magic, you can say that Modi ji has put Manipur on the railway map of India. see, if you'll be really glad that the Raini Guide station where the goods train has arrived, and
Right,
Prime
right.
Minister Modi ji also
Okay.
today says that railway in reaching Imphal is will be a reality as long as Modi is, Modi hai to mumkin hai. So that's a kind of commitment the Honorable Prime Minister, he works in day out. He's a very, very serious, in these kind of things. And unlike Shri Rahul Gandhi, who visit, Manipur after 2017. Good for him and the Congress party that he remembers Manipur during a time of elections. And for the Honorable Prime Minister, today's visit to Manipur was his 55th time
Okay, let's
in the Northeast region.
let's not go into statistics at the moment. Let me quickly go to Achumemo Kikon. Achumemo, do you really think one other thing that the Hill Valley divide? It has been an issue that has been plaguing Manipur for years actually. Do you agree, being a top leader of the Naga People's Front, do you agree that it is after 2017 when the new government came to power with a BJP-led coalition, do you think that the chief ministers go to Hill's campaign, go to Hill's initiative, do you think that has to some extent helped remove the divide between the Hills and the Valley people in Manipur?
Yes, Wasbir, in the last 2012 to 2017, we were having 4 MLAs, but we were in the opposition. Now, even in the opposition, we have effectively played a role in safeguarding the rights of especially the hill areas, and also building relationship between the valleys and the hill people. However, since we were in the opposition, we could not do much. Now, in this 5 years government, 2017 to 2022, we are now facing the election for the 12th house. Our party was in power because, with the BJP, because of so many reasons. One is to take forward the Indo-Naga peace process, one. Number two, to bring a communal harmony, social harmony, relationship between the hills and the valleys. And to a large extent, we have achieved. Now, the third point in which I would like to mention is, as far as the reaching out the hill areas is concerned, yes, it is because I don't want to take the entire credit as far as the NPF is concerned. It is a concerted effort of all political parties and every individual. However, to a large extent, it is actually the participation of the NPF that has bridged the gap between the valleys and the hills. And you have seen visible peace, tranquility, harmony, social harmony, as well as peace and tranquility in both the valleys and the hills. It
So
is
the main
because
point,
of the participation of the NPF in the present government.
So
Present
the main,
government.
yeah. So
No.
the main point which Achumbemo Kikon has just said
Yes.
now, not in his earlier appearance, so a few minutes ago, he has said that it is because of the NPF's presence in the government that the Hill Valley divide has reduced to a great extent. That is what Achumbemo Kikon is saying. So the NPF, according to Achumbemo, is a very relevant
Exactly.
force in the hill areas. That's what he's trying to suggest. Professor Maisnam, what are the issues? Are the main issues in Manipur? Are the main issues in Manipur getting drowned because of the high-profile election campaign? Do you think the main people that affects the people, the main issues that affect the people, do you think no one is talking about that?
Yeah, definitely right. They are, divorcing the issues. Actually, so as I have already told you that it seems to be an issue-less, agenda-less, theme-less election. And this 12th State Assembly election in Manipur is being held in the backdrop of an unprecedented health and economic crisis, And according to the government estimate itself, there is a huge drop in the GDP. And in this current financial year, there will also be a huge contraction in GDP. And if we combine 2 years, 2 years, I mean the last year and the current financial year, if we combined the total expected loss, it will be around 13 lakh crore. Ratika's father is the finance minister in the present government. He himself tabled this figure in the assembly that the loss to GDP may be about 13 lakh crore. So, but all the parties contesting election, they are not focusing this issue. This is very serious issue, and the people are losing jobs, and the people are, there are a huge number of jobless people, and as far as income loss is concerned, according to a recent survey conducted all over India, according to the survey, among the worst affected states in terms of income loss, Manipur tops the figure.
Right.
So 67%
Right.
of the household in Manipur, they are losing, the income. So these are not the issues, and they are not, taking up these issues. And
So-
the budget, the union budget is talking about the special scheme for the Northeastern region. The
Right.
amount is
Right,
to the
right.
tune of only
Professor,
1,300 crores.
Hold your thoughts, Professor.
Yeah.
I'll come back to you. The main point is Professor Maisnam is saying that the political parties are not raising the key issues facing the state. They're saying the state does not have jobs. Nobody is talking about giving jobs to the unemployed in the state. And he's also saying how the GDP is going down. Of course, we all know that the elections are being held in the middle of an economic crisis. But his main contention, Professor Chinglang Maisnam, the only non-political voice in this debate today, is that nobody is talking the real issues, and that the political parties are trying to divert the issues. I'll take a reaction from Prithviraj and go to Mr. Hemachandra Singh, Ratika, and Mr. Chumabakikon. The moment I come back, I'll go for a very, very short break. Don't go away. Welcome back. We have a big breaking story at this point in time. The GNLA's former chairman, Champion Sangma, arrested in Guwahati. Champion Sangma, the former chairman of the Garo National Liberation Army, Champion Sangma, and two other people arrested in Guwahati. They were arrested with fake currency worth rupees 15 lakhs. That is the big breaking story we are breaking at this hour. We'll come back with little more details within this show, perhaps, if we get, but that is the big breaking story at this point in time. Let's go back to the election debate. Let me come back to you, Prithviraj Singh. No political party, I'm not singling out the BJP. No political party is talking about the real issues facing the people of Manipur. That is what the only non-political voice in this debate tonight, Dr. Chinglang Maisnam from Manipur University, is saying. To what extent do you agree?
Well, if you see the manifesto of the Bharatiya Janata Party, you'll see those are all real issues. The real issues are the old pensions. The real issues are the farmers' issue. The real issues are the improvement of medical health facilities. The real issues are the students' community. The real issues are the people who are living in the poor and the marginalized community. These are all real issues. So, and plus, I just heard in the last comment from Professor Maisnam that he talks about the GDP and the falling of economy. See, what we need to see is the last 2 years have been very turbulent, not only for the state of Manipur, but the world globally due to the COVID. So, despite the limited resources that Manipur has, fought back real hard, and we are confident and hopeful that in the coming years, we'll be able to recover big time, and we should be, back on track, sooner rather than later.
Right, right. But let me go back to Mr. Hemachandra Singh. Mr. Hemachandra Singh, in your election manifesto, when you promised 50,000 jobs for the people, a lot of people ask these questions. In a small state like Manipur, how will any government provide jobs to 50,000 people? And as the professor said, the government itself has talked about the loss in the economy, loss in the GDP in Manipur. The finances are not that good. So, is it only an election time promise that you are making? So, lot of questions. You are also being accused of not raising the main issues. So, how do you respond?
Wasbir, I think there is nothing wrong in setting targets, and it has to be also achieved in a very staggered way. I think if we are talking about 50,000 jobs, it is not going to it's not going to take place in 1 year. It will be on a staggered basis, and you are absolutely correct, because for a small state like Manipur, it looks like a little bit of an ambitious dream, but I think it is achievable if we have a will. You will recall many years back we held a national games, by cutting pro rata money from all our employees, and there was a will. I mean, we did it, and at a time when it was almost thought impossible. So I think I also agree partly with Professor Maisnam, because see, in the din of all this election propaganda, and towards the last few days, a little bit of the main issues about which the common man will be affected gets a little diluted. But as the BJP panelist has also said, every party has their own. The NPF, the NPP also will have theirs. I think we have a very vibrant, program and policy which we would like to implement for the youths, for the farmers, for the women of this state. And I think the Congress manifesto also clearly indicates all that. And I think notwithstanding whatever we promise in the manifesto, I think it is the will. It is the will to work, and that will be only shown. That will only come about when we after the polls and the next government comes about. I think very quickly, because I was tempted to respond to Prithviraj's comment, which of course he very articulately put it, and very nicely put it under a very nice way. But I think we must appreciate the fact that I would give full credit to Kikonji, because the NPF, at least for a change, has at least admitted on television, at least on national television, at least in your channel today, that it is because of the NPF. It is solely because of the NPF that there was no blockade or band. This is a very significant, this is a very, very important statement given by the NPF, because it is possible, it is unfortunate for us also at that point of time to not have had an understanding with the NPF. And at that point of time, there could have been, we all make mistakes. We could have had some, misunderstanding with NPF. That could have been a reason in prospect. So I think no. Let me come back to the point. The point is, the BJP, the Prime Minister Modi, or anybody for that matter, taking credit for all these blockades and bunds to have ended, has been totally debunked by the NPF itself, by no less than Mr. Kikon's own mouth. So I think we should give credit to people who deserve the credit. And I think another last point, very quickly. See, Prime Minister Modi or the leaders or all the ministers can come 55 times, they can come 100 times. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the work has been done on the ground.
Right.
Manipur today, Wasbir has the lowest vaccination figures, 52%. That is the lowest in the whole nation. We have the highest COVID deaths compared to national average. And by the way, Prithviraj has very rightly taken credit for all the good strain which has arrived. But please, Prithviraj has been with us for a very long time. He is a very, very respected, esteemed leader among the young, the young leaders of Manipur. But one must also know the fact that 89.3%, or almost 90%, I'll round it off, of the railway project was completed during the Congress regime.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and by
Point
the way,
noted.
when
Point
is the
noted. Mr.
infrastructure?
Amachandra. Mr. Amachandra, your point
Where is the
noted.
infrastructure, Wasbir?
Prithviraj will
Where
have
is the
to.
infrastructure for going to the hills?
Yes.
Go to hills, but there is
Prithviraj
no,
will
there is
have
no
to.
transportation, there is no structure.
Prithviraj
Yes,
will
please,
have
of
to.
course.
Prithviraj will have to answer that. I am coming to Mr. Achumemo in a minute, but Ratika Yumnam, how do you respond to this fact that I mean, all the political parties, it's not just the NPP. Do you think you are really addressing the real issues afflicting people? What are the real issues according to you? Because I had an interview with the topmost leader of the NPP in the state, Mr. Joy Kumar Singh, who incidentally is your father. But the point is, he said that there was poor governance, and that is one of the reasons why the NPP decided to come out of the BJP-led alliance and contest the elections, and with the objective of providing good governance to the people. My question: what are the three things that the people of Manipur need today, according to you?
See, what they have said also is quite important when it comes to looking into real issues, right? So, some of the things that Mr. Joykumar said with regard to misgovernance, it's actually quite true because if you look at it during the COVID crisis, the health minister who was also from NPP, he was taken, I mean, the portfolio was taken out from him right in the middle of the crisis that was. And there were also so many cases in which the medical experts and all were not consulted, even when we pushed for having a committee to have a proper planning for the COVID management and all. So all these suggestions that we gave to the government, to the to the BJP side, it was never taken into consideration. So all these challenges were there, but some of the other things that we feel are real issues, which other political parties are not really addressing, is the thing about AFSPA. And not just about AFSPA, but one thing we have also mentioned in our manifesto is also about the developmental projects. Like you may say it may be a railway, or it may be about a dam, or it may be about palm oil plantation or whatever. But if all these developmental projects are being pushed through for us without having free prior informed consent of us, then whom does the benefits go to? So these are real issues that most of the
Right.
political parties are not
Okay.
focusing. So for us, the grassroots really matters. The development should reach the people, the scheme should
Right.
reach the people and the beneficiaries.
Absolutely,
So that is
absolutely.
what we are pushing
No
for.
contest. Nobody can contest that the fruits of development must reach the people, the schemes must reach the people. Mr. Achumemo Kikon, in fact, Hemachandra Singh, one of the topmost leaders of the Congress in Manipur, has made a very big statement. He said that it was perhaps a mistake on the part of the earlier Congress government in the state not to have had some kind of an understanding or an alliance with the NPF. And he has given the NPF full credit for the bridging of the hill-valley divide in Manipur, which you have also said. Now, Congress saying that it was a mistake not to have aligned with the NPP earlier. How do you respond?
Exactly. I wanted to respond to what Himachandra has said. I hope he is not cynical when he thanked the NBF, and I hope he is seriously saying he meant seriously what he said. In fact, the narrative against the NBF is it is Naga-centric party. It talks always only on Naga issues, only on Naga interest. No, Wasbir, I'm telling you, we have proved them wrong. Those critics and those cynical opinions, and you have already seen our participation, our active participation in these 5 years of the Biren Singh-led BJP government, where we are a small partner. As far as our party is concerned, we are only 4 members. 4 members cannot, force upon the policies and programs that we wish to. But our aims and objective, as it is enshrined in our constitutions, in our earlier manifestos, is to bring peace to the state of Manipur, and also to bridge the gap between the divide, the social divides between the hill and the valleys. And we are serious on this. But I think the narrative has been, to a large extent, has been deviated, by making a kind of comment which the other party and other organizations and individuals who think that NBF is only for the Nagas. No, I think that aspect
No, very well said,
aspect
Achumemo
has to be
Kikon.
done away with.
Let me clear
and
the air.
We are here for all of us.
Let us have Achumemo and
NBF is here to
Hemachandra.
create peace,
Okay.
to propagate peace and to promote peace.
Mr. Hemachandra, Achumbemo Kikon was asking whether you were serious when you complimented the NPF, when you complimented Mr. Hemachandra. I mean, let's have everybody in. Yeah.
Wasbir, I think, we have to be open in politics. See, politics is always changing. The issues are always changing. And I think it is about humility. It is about being frank about issues. If NPF as of today is still, and I agree with Mr. Kikon that any political party worth its name and salt would stand for the people of Manipur, stand for their principles. And I think what I meant was when it came to, there's a race for taking credits at this point of time, which is unfortunate.
So
I think
Achumbemo was asking the question.
I'm looking at the larger picture.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying that it was a mistake or it was not a mistake. Please don't misconstrue my words. Please don't take. Don't make it as if I'm sounding cynical at all. It is not about cynicism at all.
Yeah, Achumbemo was asking actually the question whether the Congress was cynical. He did not say Congress not cynical. He was asking the question whether the Congress was cynical in complimenting NPF. You have cleared the air. The Congress was not cynical. You mean it.
There is no cynicism, and I think at some point of time, if there was a misunderstanding at some point of time about which we now feel,
right? Right.
What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? I think everybody can change course. The NPP, which were so much together for 5 years, as Latika rightly said, has come apart today. So I think we are open to every any party of similar. When we have similar issues, we can go together. So we are not untouchables.
Absolutely.
Today, NPF is going with the BJP, but NPF is not overshadowed by the BJP.
I want to go to a few more questions. I am running short of time. Professor Maisnam, how do you see the elections panning out? What do you read? The BJP is saying that they are going to get an absolute majority. The NPP is saying they are going to emerge as the largest single party. The Congress is also saying that they are going to emerge as the largest single party. So, what is your considered opinion?
It is better to consult a good astrologer.
Yes, yes.
Everyone is predicting, but they are worrying. That's why the BJP also claiming that they'll form the government and they will get absolute majority. But the problem is they themselves are also, I think, having doubt, and the number of stars campaigning in Manipur, and the Congress also. It is also true in the case of Congress, even though they are claiming that they will get 30 plus, they are also having similar doubt. So I think the next government will be a coalition government. Who will lead the government? I don't know. Either it may be the Congress-led or BJP-led.
Absolutely. Nobody knows. We have to wait till the 10th of March to get everything. But the big statement today, it came from Hemachandra Singh. We need to highlight that, whether he said that Congress may have made a mistake in the past but not aligning with the NPF. That is something which is rare. Now, Prithviraj, final comments from you. I'm running short of time. Prithviraj Singh, final comments from you. What would you say? Do you revise some of the things that you had said in the last couple of days?
Well, I'll just answer. Just put my input regarding the comment made by my dear good friend and brother Shri Hemachandra Singh. He has said on your channel that the Congress regrets not aligning with the NPF, right? So that's proves that BJP is extremely good in ally management, And what is it is Congress loss, but it is BJP's gain. And NP have time and again proved in the last 5 years that they have been an all-weather friend, and they have been a very, very trustworthy ally in the last 5 years. So that's what BJP is have cashed in the last 5 years. See, which has benefited. See, NP have played an extremely important part in bringing peace in the state of Manipur, and that's what the people of Manipur wants. Nobody wants buns and blockades in Manipur. So you have to see the bright side of things, and it's really good that the Congress have you realize that it was a folly or a mistake from their end not to ally with the NPF. So that's what the BJP sees where the weakness is and turns it into a strength. So that's what the BJP is getting stronger and stronger as an organization. It's spreading out all across the nation. So that's proof the seriousness of the Prime Minister and all the party top leaders to cash in where the weakness is and turn that weakness into strength.
Absolutely.
And that has proven in Manipur.
Absolutely.
So everybody wanted peace, and BJP has delivered peace.
Thank you, Prithviraj. Achumemo Kikon, 20 seconds to you. Final comments.
Yes.
Achumemo, final comments.
Well, as far as the NPF is concerned, yes, as far as the NPF is concerned, this election, this is the third assembly election we are participating in 12, 17 as well as 22. Our aims and objective is very clear. We would like to bring peace to the state of Manipur. This is the state where we all love, where you will find a lot of community living together. And we all need to work very hard to bring peace, social harmony, communal harmony, and we will be contributing as a party, as NPF. We have already contributed. You all have seen our contribution, how the NPF have played its role positively in bringing peace. And the peace, the developmental work which we are talking about, all the parties in the manifestos as we face the electorates, that will come only when there is peace, when there is peaceful environment in the state.
Absolutely.
And towards this, NPF is committed to it. We are not a very ambitious party, and therefore we have
right, that is what
we
the
have set up 10 candidates only this time round, and we are hopeful that we are.
I'm running short of time.
Mr.
Hemachandra, your final comment. Sorry, Achumemo, I'm totally running out of time. Okay, Achumemo, thank you very much indeed. I'm running short of time. Last word to the lady, Ratika Yumnam.
Yeah, very short. I'll just sum up. When it comes to NPP, I mean, as a closing comment, I think we will emerge as the dark horse, because besides all these other political parties, we are with the people and we know the pulse of the people. And even though we are not very loud or aggressive or, very larger than life in terms of our social, media campaign, etc., we are with the grassroots. So we will really emerge victorious this time.
Absolutely. We wish everybody the best. May the best people win. That is what I would only say today. May the best people win. At the end of the day, people's representatives are the ones who does work for their people, who are the voices of the people, and therefore every right-thinking people or every right-thinking person will hope that the right people win the selections. We'll have to wait till the 10th of March. But several significant points raised in this debate tonight, with Mr. Hemachandra openly saying that perhaps the Congress in Manipur have made a mistake by not tying up or aligning with the NPF earlier. That is one point. Second point is that what Prithviraj said, basically that they are talking about the people's development. Hemachandra also saying that the BJP cannot take credit for all the good that has emerged in Manipur, that has happened in Manipur in the last 5 years. Achumemo Kikon saying that it is the NPF's presence in the government that had a huge contribution in the bridging of the divide of the people between people in the hills and the valley. And of course, the professor, Miss Dr. Maisnam, saying that the political parties are trying to divert the issues, not talking about the real issues. And that brings me to the first question that I raised in this debate, whether the divided election blitzkrieg has led to the drowning of the real issues in Manipur, but still a week to go, almost a week to go, but we'll have to wait at the end of the day for the results on the 10th of March. This is not the last we have heard on the election dynamics or the poll mathematics in Manipur. I thank all my panelists for participating in the show and the viewers for watching the program. Good night and goodbye.